While a 79-year-old father underwent emergency surgery in the Philippines, his daughter posted on Instagram about her husband's comedy special. This is the story of how Meghan Markle became villain of the year, and why 2025 might be the year the world finally stopped believing her carefully crafted narratives. December 4th, 2024. British journalist Dan Wootton broke the news on X, formerly known as Twitter. Thomas Markle, the man who raised Meghan Markle as a single father, had undergone serious surgery. He was 79 years old, in declining health, and thousands of miles away from his only daughter. And on that same day, Meghan Markle released a Christmas special promoting her husband's stand-up comedy tour. The timing wasn't just bad. According to social media observers and royal commentators across platforms, it revealed something deeper about the woman who once captivated the world as a modern fairy tale princess. But to understand how we got here, we need to go back to the beginning. Because Meghan Markle's relationship with truth, particularly when it comes to her own history, has a pattern that deserves closer examination. Thomas Markle wasn't just any father. According to multiple interviews he's given over the years, he worked double shifts as a lighting director in Hollywood so his daughter could attend private school. Specifically, Immaculate Heart High School in Los Angeles, where tuition costs tens of thousands of dollars annually. Court records and Thomas's own documented career history show he was an Emmy Award-winning lighting director who worked on shows like Married with Children and General Hospital. Meghan herself painted a very different picture of her childhood depending on who was listening. In a 2013 interview with Craig Ferguson on The Late Late Show, Meghan spoke warmly about her father. Video footage from that appearance, which has circulated widely on social media in recent years, shows her discussing her relationship with Thomas with obvious affection. She described him as supportive and present in her life. Fast forward to her United Nations speech about gender equality. Meghan told the story of how her father helped her write a letter to Procter & Gamble about a dish soap commercial she found sexist when she was 11 years old. The story became central to her brand as an activist. But Thomas Markle himself later contradicted this account in interviews with British tabloids including The Sun and Daily Mail. According to Thomas, it was a class project, not the spontaneous act of childhood activism Meghan described. He helped her with homework, not launch a campaign. Then there's The Tig, Meghan's lifestyle blog that ran from 2014 to 2017. Royal observers who archived the site before it was taken down have pointed out that Meghan wrote extensively and affectionately about her father during those years. She described him taking her to ballet classes in Bel Air and fancy delicatessens in Beverly Hills. She painted a picture of an upper-middle-class childhood filled with cultural opportunities. But when Meghan sat down with People magazine after her engagement to Prince Harry was announced, the narrative shifted dramatically. Suddenly, she was eating at the $4.99 salad bar at Sizzler. She described eating dinner off a tray table while watching Jeopardy, suggesting a much more modest upbringing than the one she'd previously documented. In Oprah Winfrey's bombshell interview with Harry and Meghan that aired in March 2021, Meghan spoke about feeling isolated and unsupported, but observers noted she made no mention of the father who had, by all documented accounts, sacrificed significantly for her education and early career opportunities. Thomas Markle has stated in multiple interviews that he helped Meghan get extra work on General Hospital, using his industry connections to give her a foot in the door of the entertainment business. Royal commentator Kinsey Schofield, who hosts the podcast Recollections May Vary, has pointed out this pattern of rewriting history. In discussions with media analyst Maureen Callahan, host of the Nerve podcast, Schofield noted that major outlets like People magazine and Harper's Bazaar never seem to question why Meghan's stories about her past keep evolving. The magazines that once celebrated her as a breath of fresh air for the monarchy have, according to Schofield, failed to hold her accountable when her accounts of events contradict her own previous statements. What's particularly striking, according to observers, is how completely Thomas Markle has been erased from Meghan's current narrative. The man is still alive, yet Meghan speaks about her childhood as if he barely existed. In contrast, her mother Doria Ragland features prominently in every interview, every documentary, every carefully curated image. This brings us to one of the most uncomfortable questions that, according to Callahan, the media refuses to address. Court records and interviews suggest there was a significant period, reportedly between 7 to 10 years, when Doria was largely absent from Meghan's life. Yet this gap in Meghan's childhood goes unexamined by the journalists who interview her. Meanwhile, Thomas, who by all accounts was the primary parent during this time, has been completely written out of the story. The estrangement between Meghan and Thomas became public in the lead-up to the royal wedding in May 2018. Thomas was caught staging paparazzi photos, something he admitted to and apologized for in interviews with Good Morning Britain and other outlets. He called it stupid. He said he regretted it, but he also provided context that rarely makes it into the mainstream narrative. According to Thomas, in multiple interviews, he had been under siege by paparazzi for months. Photographers camped outside his home in Rosarito, Mexico, around the clock. He was being portrayed in the tabloids as a reclusive, unkempt embarrassment to his daughter. Thomas has maintained in every interview since then that his phone number has never changed. Think about that for a moment. In an age where people change phone numbers regularly, where celebrities cycle through devices and contact information for security reasons, Thomas Markle kept the same number. According to his statements, he did this specifically so his daughter could reach him. She never did. In 2022, Thomas suffered a stroke. In 2024, he had his leg amputated. British tabloids reported both medical crises extensively. Thomas's other daughter, Samantha Markle, released public statements about their father's declining health and his need for extensive care. Meghan, according to all available public information, has not visited, called, or sent any form of communication. Royal observers and media critics have suggested that Meghan could easily find contact information for her father if she wanted to. Despite reports that she goes through staff quickly, she certainly has the resources to locate a man whose phone number hasn't changed and who has been giving interviews to easily accessible media outlets for years. The conclusion many have drawn is that Meghan doesn't want to reach out. Here's where things get uncomfortable for anyone trying to understand Meghan's public image. Many people have difficult relationships with their parents. Family estrangement happens. But what's different in this case, according to commentators, is the combination of public silence, while simultaneously profiting from narratives about identity, family, and belonging. Maureen Callahan has theorized that Thomas Markle became a liability because he doesn't look the part. At 79, overweight, with health problems, he doesn't fit the aesthetic of the world Meghan was trying to join. He doesn't photograph well next to royalty. He's not camera-ready in the way that modern celebrity culture demands. And this, Callahan suggests, is the real reason he was cut out. Not because of the paparazzi photos, which were minor and apologized for, but because he didn't fit the image. Consider how this plays out visually. Doria Ragland, despite also not being conventionally Hollywood, serves a purpose in Meghan's narrative. Her presence allows Meghan to highlight her biracial identity, which became central to her royal story. Thomas, on the other hand, represents the unglamorous reality of Meghan's actual upbringing, the working-class roots she seems determined to erase or reframe. The events of December 2024 brought all of this into sharp focus. Thomas Markle underwent emergency surgery at age 79. This was not a minor procedure. Medical experts consulted by various news outlets noted that any surgery at that age carries significant risk. His daughter, who has made a career partially built on talking about compassion, mental health, and family values, was promoting a Christmas special the same day. The Christmas special itself, with Harry and Meghan, was released on Netflix. Critics noted that the timing was either spectacularly tone-deaf or deliberately callous. Social media erupted. Even some of Meghan's previous defenders questioned how she could have allowed this to happen. The PR optics were devastating. But here's what made it worse. According to commentators following the story, there was no acknowledgement, no statement from Meghan's representatives expressing concern for her father's health, no request for privacy during a family medical emergency, just silence, followed by promotion of her Netflix content. Schofield noted in her podcast that she initially thought Meghan couldn't possibly make 2025 worse for herself than 2024 had been. But the combination of releasing subpar content on the same day as a family medical crisis, followed by complete silence about her father's condition, managed to do exactly that. It crystallized everything critics had been saying about Meghan's character into one devastating moment. The public reaction was swift and harsh. Kitson, a trendy boutique on Robertson Boulevard in Los Angeles, named Meghan Markle Villain of the Year in their holiday window display. They called her a Montecito diva, a reference to the wealthy California enclave where she and Harry live. She was featured alongside California Governor Gavin Newsom, George Clooney, and Katy Perry in what Kitson called their Gallery of Holiday Hypocrites. Now, Kitson is not a random store. During the 2000s, it was the place in Los Angeles for celebrity spotting. This was where Tori Spelling, Paris Hilton, and reality stars would shop. It was where U.S. Weekly stationed photographers. At the height of the Brangelina scandal, Kitson sold Team Angelina and Team Jennifer t-shirts that became cultural phenomena. For Meghan, who, according to observers, spent her pre-royal years trying to get photographed in exactly these locations, this had to sting. Schofield, speaking from the Polo Lounge in Beverly Hills, noted the irony. This is exactly the kind of place Meghan wanted to be seen. These are the boutiques she would have loitered around when going to auditions in her 20s, hoping to be photographed, hoping to be noticed. And now, one of those very boutiques has labeled her a villain. The display put Meghan in direct competition for Worst Celebrity of the Year with figures like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, who were facing their own controversies. But Meghan, according to those tracking celebrity reputation, was winning that particular race in all the wrong ways. What's particularly damaging, according to media analysts, is that Meghan has gone to ground. She's not strategizing her way out of this one. Her usual playbook, carefully placed stories in friendly magazines, strategic interviews with sympathetic journalists, isn't working. The media landscape has shifted. The outlets that once gave her uncritical coverage are now facing pressure from readers who are tired of what they see as double standards. 2025, according to Chinese astrology, is the year of the snake. In that tradition, it's a year about shedding things that no longer serve you, releasing people and circumstances that are holding you back. Callahan suggested that perhaps the public is collectively shedding Meghan Markle, that the world is finally seeing through the carefully constructed image to the person underneath. 2026 is the year of the horse in Chinese astrology, representing strong forward movement. The implication, according to this reading, is that 2025 had to be a year of clearing out the dead weight. And for Meghan, the weight of her own contradictions, her own rewritten histories, her own choices, has become too heavy to carry into the next phase. Let's examine what's been lost. Meghan and Harry have burned bridges with the royal family. According to multiple royal correspondents and confirmed by the lack of any joint appearances or public communications, the rift is complete. They've lost lucrative contracts. Spotify ended their deal early, with an executive calling them grifters in a podcast interview that went viral. Netflix is reportedly cooling on them, with their recent content failing to meet viewership expectations that justified the reported $100 million deal. They've lost public respect in both the United Kingdom and, increasingly, in the United States. Polling data from organizations like YouGov shows that Meghan's favorability ratings have plummeted. In the UK, she's viewed negatively by a significant majority. In the US, opinion has shifted from curiosity and support to indifference or active dislike. They've lost any realistic chance of a comeback in the way they might have envisioned. The Hollywood doors that might have opened for Meghan as a Duchess are closing as a failed influencer. Harry's royal status, which was supposed to be their golden ticket, has become an albatross. He can't go back, but he can't quite move forward either. Harry's future, according to observers, looks increasingly grim. He's doing paid speaking engagements at business conferences and real estate conventions. Reports indicate he made $300,000 for a recent speech. But as Callahan broke down, after taxes, agent fees, management fees, and legal costs associated with contracts, Harry likely netted between $125,000 and $150,000. For someone who once lived in palaces, this represents a significant downgrade. The venues tell the story. He's speaking at mid-level hotels near airports. According to reports from attendees, he's telling the same stories about his mother's death and his difficult childhood in the royal family. At 40 years old, he hasn't processed or moved beyond trauma from decades ago. He's married to a woman who, in Callahan's memorable phrase, is metaphorically skinning Diana's carcass and wearing it around town. The comparison to Princess Diana has been a constant in Meghan's public image. But where Diana had genuine warmth and charisma that came through in every photograph and interaction, Meghan's attempts to channel Diana come across as calculated. The Harper's Bazaar photoshoot that many observers noted was styled to deliberately evoke Diana felt creepy rather than honoring. Their attempts at humor have fallen flat. Harry appeared on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert in December 2024. According to media coverage, he was trying to come across as funny and self-deprecating, but commentators noted it felt forced. You can't be funny if you don't have a sense of humor, and you can't be funny if you're not smart, as Callahan bluntly put it. Both of those qualities appear to be missing. Compare this to celebrities who have successfully rehabilitated their images through self-deprecating humor. Ben Affleck went on Saturday Night Live after the failure of his film with Jennifer Lopez and made fun of himself. His career recovered. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have used humor and self-awareness to navigate controversies. But Harry and Meghan can't laugh at themselves. They can't admit fault. They can't course-correct. Callahan suggested they should have done a Saturday Night Live spoof of themselves. Imagine if they had walked in on a cold open, willing to be the joke instead of the butt of the joke. People love it when celebrities show self-awareness. After the backlash from the Oprah interview, from the Netflix documentary, from Harry's memoir Spare, a self-aware Saturday Night Live appearance could have been a game-changer. Or consider this. After media personality Megyn Kelly did a satirical segment about Meghan Markle, Schofield suggested that Meghan Markle's team should have called Megyn Kelly's team and offered to have Meghan Markle appear in a follow-up sketch. Let her play an annoying neighbor. Let her make fun of herself. Let her show she has the capacity for humility and humor. People would have liked that, but it never happened, because it never could happen. The level of self-awareness required simply isn't there. Remember Meghan's 40 by 40 initiative. This was announced on her 40th birthday as a mentorship program. The promotional video featured Melissa McCarthy on a Zoom call, with Harry juggling in a window behind them. It was supposed to be whimsical and fun. Instead, according to commentators, it came across as awkward and desperate. The initiative itself went nowhere, becoming yet another in a long line of abandoned Meghan Markle projects. Or the infamous Ellen DeGeneres appearance where Meghan squatted on a sidewalk with her legs spread, acting out ridiculous scenarios while sucking on a baby bottle. This happened while she was positioning herself as the future of the British royal family. Royal observers noted the optics were bizarre. This is someone who claimed to want dignity and privacy, yet was willing to humiliate herself on daytime television for attention. In 2024, there was the twerking video that circulated on social media. Meghan, visibly pregnant according to the video, was dancing in a way that many viewers found inappropriate. But beyond the appropriateness, observers noted that her pregnancy didn't look real in the footage. The belly, according to numerous comments on social media, looked more like a pillow than a pregnant abdomen. While such speculation is impossible to verify, it added to a general atmosphere of distrust around Meghan's public persona. The pattern that emerges is clear. Every attempt at appearing relatable, funny, or human comes across as calculated and false. The authenticity that makes people fall in love with celebrities is completely absent, and the public is finally noticing. So where does this leave them? Harry is trapped in a cycle of paid speeches to increasingly smaller audiences at increasingly less prestigious venues. His only marketable stories are about his mother's death, which happened decades ago when he was a child, and about how difficult it was being royal, which rings hollow to people struggling with actual hardships. Meghan has no clear path forward. Her acting career is dead. Her influencer career never took off. Her attempt to be a lifestyle brand has failed to launch. Netflix is reportedly losing interest. Spotify is gone. The only thing she has left is her title, and even that has become controversial, with some British parliamentarians suggesting titles should be removed from non-working royals. The relationship between Harry and Meghan is also reportedly under strain. Multiple royal correspondents have noted they're rarely seen together anymore. They appear at events separately. There are rumors, though unconfirmed, of arguments and disagreements about their direction. If Meghan cut out her own father for not fitting her image, what happens to Harry when he stops being useful? This brings us back to Thomas Markle, lying in a hospital bed in the Philippines, recovering from emergency surgery at 79 years old. He has given interviews to anyone who will listen. He has pleaded publicly for reconciliation with his daughter. He has admitted his mistakes and apologized repeatedly, and he has been met with silence. Thomas has said that all he wants before he dies is to meet his grandchildren. Archie and Lilibet exist somewhere in Montecito, raised behind gates and walls by a mother who has cut off her own family and a father who abandoned his. What kind of life is that for children? What happens when they grow up and want to know their grandfather's side of the story? What happens when they discover the archives of their mother's old blog posts, her interviews, her documented history that contradicts everything they've been told? Character is destiny, according to the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus. And what we're watching is destiny playing out in real time. Meghan Markle's character, her willingness to rewrite history, to cut people out, to prioritize image over substance, is determining her fate. The fairy tale princess has been revealed as a villain, not because of tabloid hit pieces, but because of her own documented actions and choices. The story of December 4th, 2024 will be remembered as the moment when even Meghan's defenders couldn't defend her anymore. A father, elderly and ill, undergoing surgery. A daughter, wealthy and comfortable, promoting a Christmas special. The contrast was too stark. The optics were too bad. The pattern was too clear. As 2025 unfolds, the question isn't whether Meghan can rehabilitate her image. It's whether she even wants to, because rehabilitation requires admitting fault, showing growth, demonstrating change. It requires the kind of humility and self-awareness that Meghan has never displayed. It requires being willing to be vulnerable and real rather than constantly performing a calculated version of herself. Thomas Markle may not live to see reconciliation with his daughter. At 79, with multiple health crises, time is running out, and when he dies, Meghan will face a choice. She can continue to stay silent, cementing her reputation as someone who abandoned her father, or she can finally speak, risking that whatever she says will be scrutinized against the documented record of her changing stories. Either way, the public has made up its mind. The woman who wanted to be beloved has become villain of the year. The woman who wanted to change the monarchy has been rejected by it. The woman who wanted Hollywood stardom has become a cautionary tale, and the father who gave her everything watches from thousands of miles away, still hoping for a phone call that will never come. This is what happens when you build your life on narratives instead of truth. Eventually, the weight of all those contradictions becomes too heavy to bear. The rewritten histories start contradicting each other, the carefully constructed image develops cracks, and the world sees through to what's underneath. Meghan Markle wanted to be seen as a modern fairy tale princess. Instead, she's been revealed as the villain of her own story. And unlike in fairy tales, there's no magic spell that can change what she's chosen to become. Character is destiny. And destiny, it turns out, is unforgiving when you've spent years running from the truth. If this story revealed something you didn't know before, if it made you think differently about Meghan and Harry's carefully crafted narratives, take a moment to like this video. The algorithm rewards engagement, and your support helps ensure more people see the documented facts rather than the PR spin. Subscribe to stay updated as this story continues to unfold. Because with Thomas Markle's health declining and Meghan's reputation collapsing, we're watching a tragedy play out in real time. New developments happen constantly, and we're here to provide context, documentation, and analysis that mainstream outlets won't touch. Most importantly, leave a comment with your perspective. Do you think reconciliation between Meghan and Thomas is still possible? Do you believe Meghan's shifting narratives about her childhood? Have your opinions on Harry and Meghan changed over the years? Your voice matters in this conversation, and your insights add depth to our understanding of how celebrity, family, and truth intersect in the modern media landscape. This isn't just gossip. It's a case study in how reputation is built and destroyed, how family relationships crumble under the weight of ambition, and how the truth eventually emerges no matter how many narratives you construct to hide it. The villain of the year isn't a fictional character. She's real, she's consequential, and her story is still unfolding. Thanks for watching. The next chapter in this saga is probably already being written. We'll be here to document it, analyze it, and most importantly, hold it up against the documented record of what actually happened. Because in a world of spin and PR and carefully curated images, someone has to insist on the truth. And the truth about Meghan Markle is finally coming to light,